I want to take a picture of us. All right. Hello and welcome, Scorpions. I'm Suman Randawa, the Student Body President of NSSA. And on behalf of NSSA and myself, I'd like to welcome you and appreciate you for joining us at NSSA's Fall 2020 Student Town Hall. We are live via YouTube. This is being recorded, so you'll have the ability to go back and review it at any time if you feel like you missed anything. For those of you that are tuning in, we appreciate your engagement, and remember that we are giving away some cool prizes for those of you that are joining us live. I want to start off by acknowledging the tremendous changes and adversities that we've all had to face this semester. I mean, I don't think it's gone the way that we expected, and I think no one's expected it to go this long. So I commend you for sticking it through and not giving up. It's been a challenging time for everyone. So big up to all of you. And for those of you that don't know who NSSA is, it's short for the Nevada State Student Alliance. We're here to support our fellow Scorpions on your college journey. And we do that by understanding your needs, and it helps us better assist you. So with that being said, we're also students and we understand the challenges you face during this time. So despite those challenges, NSSA has been diligently working behind the scenes in our continued efforts to ensure that safety is a priority and that sense of community and belonging lives on even during these remote times. So today's event is an opportunity for us to give updates and also answer any pre-submitted questions from the Nevada State community. So we're also taking live questions, and we'll do our best to go through them as if time allows. So NSSA has prepared a slideshow, which we'll get into in a little bit, which will provide some updates, and hopefully it will answer some of those pre-submitted questions. And with us today, we have our campus leadership on the panel to provide updates and also answer student questions. And then our co-moderator is just a little bit behind. So in the meantime, I am going to pass it off to our very own Nevada State College President, President Patterson, to give some opening remarks.
Well, thank you, President, and thank you, students, for joining us on the town hall today, and for the Student Council for organizing it. Lots happened in 1 month, right? We've had a historic election that the president's still contesting, and so we're dealing with the stress of that. You know, we're also dealing with significant fiscal issues at the state level. We were recently asked to submit a 12% reduction in our base budgets for next year. And that is compounded, well, not compounded, but in addition to the 19% reduction that we are currently facing this year. And so we're in a fairly budget constrained situation as a college, but also as a system of higher education. All of the higher education institutions and the Board of Regents in the state are under a fair degree of economic stress, as we know individual students are as well. So it is a challenging time. The biggest issue we face that is certainly playing into the budget crisis, and the precipitator of the budget crisis is, of course, the pandemic that is getting worse. So unfortunately, I wish I had good news to report on that front, and there's some, but the really difficult news right now is that we have the highest number of new cases in Nevada that we've had during the entire pandemic. So even higher than in April when we closed down. But I'll tell you that the really shining part of that is at Nevada State, we've done pretty well in addressing the pandemic and staying relatively safe. We haven't had lots of cases. we've had very few cases of students, faculty, or staff on campus testing positive. And we have no evidence of any community spread on campus. That being that even if a student tested positive and was in a classroom, other students or faculty did not test positive from that classroom. So we do have a lot to be proud of. We opened our housing and have, I think, about 48 students in housing right now. We haven't had any positive cases in housing thus far. And so what we know is that masks, social distancing, and regularly washing hands, it works. If we follow those instructions, they work. And where you've seen very significant spread in colleges and universities is those campuses where it's been difficult to keep those things in place. And so I am really proud, first of all, of the students for following those directives and staying safe in their home environments. I'm really proud of the faculty for continuing to try to deliver excellent online courses. We know that isn't the case always, but I want you to recognize that our faculty have gone to extraordinary efforts to learn how to be better online teachers. We have lots of our faculty that have gone through courses and are continuing to try to improve that area, and we will get better and better as we go forward here. I think Provost Shields will talk a little bit about the spring semester, so I won't talk about that area. But I just want to say that your flexibility and support of the college during this time has been really extraordinary and appreciated. I think we have the best students in the state, probably in the country. I just don't talk to a lot of students in other parts of the country, so I can't really make that judgment. But I have talked to a lot of students in the state, and I know we have the best students. So I will say that. So want you to be sure and be safe during Thanksgiving, and we're going to finish out the semester here. And hopefully another 6 to 8 weeks after this, we'll be in a much better situation going into spring semester. So thank you.
Thank you so much, President Patterson. I know that you've had to make a lot of tough decisions during this time, but we appreciate your leadership and keeping our campus safe. And before we get started, I want to take a moment to introduce and also share my co-moderator, which is our very own NSSA's Executive Vice President, Dara Colon. Vice President Colon is our first generation college student majoring in elementary education with a concentration in special education and has a double minor in psychology and deaf studies. She's also a scholar for the Dream.USA scholarship and has been in NSSA for 3.5 years. So please take it away, Dara.
Hello, can everyone hear me? I'm so sorry for the very late upcoming. I just finished with one of my kids at my job. So yeah, thank you so much, President Randall, for the introduction. I believe that it's my turn to introduce all of our very beautiful panelists today. So today we do have our Sergeant at Arms Porter, and she is a full-time nursing student with minors in psychology and professional writing. She is involved with many aspects of the Nevada State College community, including the honor of serving as the Sergeant at Arms for Nevada State Student Alliance. Our VP of Funding, Ricardo Segura, is a first-generation college student majoring in business administration, and he is a part of the NAPATLA program's 5th cohort and current NSSA Vice President of Funding. Our Vice President of Involvement, Noah Matuk, was unable to come due to an emergency, but he is also a first-generation college student looking to receive his degree in business administration with a minor in marketing and an additional minor or hospitality. He has been in NSSA as a senator, chairman, and vice president for about 3.5 years under the Programming and Involvement Board. Our executive secretary, Andrew Valdez, is also unable to be here, but he is currently the NSSA executive secretary, and he is a double major in history and secondary education. His history concentration here at Nevada State. College. He is committed to doing his best to making Nevada State College the best it can be, and he is currently working on an initiative to establish a smoke-free policy here at NSC. Andrew currently works as a preschool teacher on the weekend, and Andrew enjoys hiking with his dog, which his name is Lucky, and watching trashy reality television. Um, then we also have our VP of Public Relations, Hara Allenton, who was also unable to be here, unfortunately, but Lauren Porter, our Sergeant at Arms, will be giving her update for that section. And we do have our very own Nevada State President, Bart Patterson. Dr. Vicky Shields is the Provost and Executive Vice President at Nevada State College. Dr. Stephanie Coleman, the Dean of Students, and Laura Hinojosat is the Case Manager for Nevada State College and member of the CARE team. Yeah, I will, do I continue? I will pass it back to President Randall.
Thank you. So this portion, thank you so much, VP Cologne, for doing all the introductions. From now, we'll start the presentation and let, I believe it will be VP Asagera giving updates on funding. So we will be starting the slideshow.
Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to NSSA's virtual town hall for the fall 2020 semester. Before I begin, I just want to say I hope everyone is staying safe. I know we are currently in a pandemic and things might be a little tough. And these are very unprecedented times, but I hope everyone is practicing the safety protocols, and we'll go ahead and begin this presentation. All right, so as Dr. Cologne mentioned, I am the VP of funding, and for funding, I know previously we had a different structure that most students were familiar with. So the funding committee now, so this is a mission statement that we have per our operating policy. So it's pretty much NSSA funding committee seeks to enhance and assist with academic and professional development interests of students and registered clubs and organizations, as well as promoting student engagement initiatives at Nevada State College. So there are two funding types. There is the academic funding and the clubs and orgs funding. So there are requirements that must be met for eligibility. Academic funding is for individual students seeking support for professional or personal development interests and student-led initiatives. So this type of funding requires that students have a completed or have in progress at least 6 credit hours and maintain both a 2.5 NSC cumulative GPA minimum upon the application and day of distribution. And then for the requirements on the clubs and orgs funding, all that is required is that your club and org is just registered with the Office of Student Life at the time of application and distribution date. So some possible funding opportunities, they're listed here, but they're not limited to. So we have conferences such as a registration fee. I know, like I said, we're currently in a pandemic, but virtual conferences, if your club wanted to attend one, is still an option. And you can request funding for possible registration fees. Event and programming, maybe you would like to purchase catering, venue, swag items, fundraiser. So this could be like baking materials, any things of that sort, recruitment, more swag items, right? And the list can go on. So if you would like to see a longer list, just please visit the beengaged.nsc.edu and access the NSSA page to review the operating policy in detail, which you can find on there. So the platform that we are currently using, as mentioned previously for the funding forms, is beengaged.nsc.edu. So I've included the hyperlink here, beengaged.nsc.edu/forms. This will take you to all the live forms that are currently on the Be Engaged website. And you just simply select the one that you're going to submit a request for. So I will touch on a little bit of the components for clarification on that. So the components that you will see is a letter of interest, 500-word maximum, or a 5-minute video presentation. So this is where you want to give us a detailed explanation of what the purpose of your request is beyond just a brief statement, right? So we want to get a holistic view on what you plan to do with the initiative and the funding request and include any dates and your planning process. You want to be as detailed as possible ultimately. If your explanation is too vague or we simply have questions, we may email you and that will result in the postponement of a decision until the next funding meeting. So that's why we ask that you go ahead, either give us a letter of interest or a 5-minute video presentation, whichever you feel is more comfortable. Then we do have general info, which is your name, email, phone number, things of that sort. Then the other component includes an itemized budget and justification. So the itemized budget is really going to be a breakdown of the expenses, right, that are going to be used for the money that you're requesting. Simply include the quantity, maybe even include a picture and what the item is. You could even feel free to include links attached to that as well. And the justification is just about a paragraph, I would say, justifying each item on that budget that ties back into your overall initiative and your request. The next part is just the purpose of the request. So this will pretty much come from your letter of interest, right? Just a brief statement on what the purpose of the request is. And then for clubs, we do ask that you list the members participating and then meeting minutes. And this is pretty much just to keep track of who is going to be participating in this initiative. Meeting minutes is so that there's not just one person taking the authoritarian control of the club without all members being in agreement. And then label on or off campus. So there is a part where you label which line you will be pulling from. For our itemized budget for the funding committee, we do have an on-campus clubs and orgs line and an off-campus. So simply choose the one that you are going to be pulling from based on your initiative. We don't allow that you double dip, so it only gives you the option to do either or, so that it creates a fair advantage for all clubs and orgs to go ahead and request funds from these budget line items. So that pretty much sums up the key components for the funding request. And again, you may access the form and operating policy on beengaged.nsc.edu via the NSSA page. Feel free to open up the form, have a quick run through so that you can see all the components in more detail. I simply just highlighted the important ones on this presentation so that you have an understanding of what we're looking for. And then I do have one more slide on information for some dates to keep in mind. Okay, so for on-campus clubs and orgs or individual request activities, virtual events, conferences, academic expenditures, and student-led initiatives. So the last deadline that we do have for the semester is November 24th, which is pretty much around the corner. We do ask that you submit those forms on time by 11:59 p.m. And this will be for any activities occurring in the month of January coming into the spring. And then some upcoming initiatives on behalf of the funding committee that we have been working very diligently on is enhancing student remote learning. So earlier in the fall 2020 semester, the funding committee released a Qualtrics survey titled Enhancing Student Remote Learning to gauge what academic support items would enhance your remote learning experience. We understand that these are unprecedented times, and we wanted to find out if there was any need for academic support items that you may not have access to at home due to COVID and the financial stress that's been put on our students. So we figured this would be a really good initiative to pursue and to really help out those students. So we are happy to announce, based off the survey results, we have created a form that you can access on Be Engaged, and it will become live Saturday, December 12th, 2020 at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just visit the beengaged.nsc.edu/forms. I know it sounds very repetitive. Maybe you'll remember this by the end of this presentation. And if you have any questions, just feel free to email nssa.funding@nsc.edu. And thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much for all of those amazing updates and all of the amazing work that you've been doing this semester. We appreciate your leadership. And moving on to Public Relations Committee, which is presented by our very own Sergeant at Arms, Lauren Porter. So along with being on the Public Relations Committee, Sergeant at Arms Porter has a very important role. And from there, I'll let her take it from here.
Thank you so much, President Randawa. Again, my name is Lauren Porter, and I am the Sergeant at Arms for NSSA. In short, my role is just the keeper of the policy. I'm here to make sure that NSSA is following our parliamentary procedure and that we are abiding by our governing documents. That's a quick and easy way to explain my role. As far as PR goes, I am speaking on behalf of Vice President Hyra Ellington, and she was unable to be here today. So her report is pretty quick and sweet, or short and sweet and to the point. So these are NSSA social media accounts, and that's really the basis of PR. We run and make sure that our students are informed and we keep them up to date with events and different things happening. We have the availability for clubs and orgs to send us, and different departments on campus to send us flyers for events, updates with information, things that we can relay then to the students and give them. I know that you heard it a few times from VP Oseguera, but I'm going to say it again. beengaged.nsc.edu is a great resource for students to head over and see all the different clubs and organizations and really see what's going on with NSSA. And make sure, guys, you follow us on social media. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that update. And then, I mean, she is being very humble, but we wouldn't be able to run meetings without her because she makes sure that we stay in check. And moving on to updates from the Involvement Committee, which will be presented by our very own Executive Vice President Cologne.
Thank you, President Randawa, and Lauren and Ricardo. You guys do amazing work, and so does Hyra. And I'm really upset that Noah couldn't be here to show off all of his amazing work that he's been doing with his committee. So they do have some really awesome events for the month of November that you should all be looking out for. So unfortunately, our drive-in movies will be postponed due to the mandate that we have within Governor Sisolak and all of the COVID measures, just to keep the safety of you and safety of our campus and everyone else in the community. But we do have Scorpion Talk, which is on the 19th at 4 p.m. today. So as soon as you get out from us, you can hop on to the other call. The next thing that we have is Movement Mondays, and they are for the 23rd of November and the 30th of November at 8 a.m. And we also have a really cool craft series on the 24th of November at 3:30 p.m. where you'll be doing just a bunch of cool crafts and everything. So make sure to put that in your calendar and join. And for the next month of December, we have Movement Monday still happening, and that will be on December 7th at 8 a.m. And we also have the NSSA and Speedway Glittering Lights present the Scorpion Lights. So that will be the 9th of December, the 11th of December, and 12th of December. And make sure to pick up any tickets at NSSA at the NSSA office, which is located in RSC 318, as soon as you get off from the elevator, right on the corner. And then we also have Scorpion Cooking, which will be on the 18th of December, and it will be all day via Instagram. And we also have a film fest for all of you really cool tech people who love to do films, and that is to be determined, but it will happen in the spring semester. However, please go ahead and join the beengaged.nsc.edu and register to any of the events so that you can keep just updated with us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And not to mention, all of these events, they're absolutely free. So that's really cool. And a lot of them have the incentives where, you know, we're giving away prizes, we're giving away materials. So I think right now more than ever, I know we're all just tired of Zoom meetings and just having to sit in front of our computers. But I mean, I've been able to participate in some of them, especially even the Scorpion Talks, which we'll have one later today. It's just almost like at the end, you know, there's like an open dialogue, and it really helps. I mean, you can have your camera turned off, like you don't even have to have your name on there. You could be anonymous, you know, but just being able to listen in and hear what some of our amazing leaders on campus have to say, it really does help. So I highly encourage all of you out there to participate, find something that sounds interesting, and just show up. So and then this is more of a question for VP Cologne. Will you be presenting right now or in a little bit?
Yeah, so I don't have anything to present, but just a little quick update for all of my students out there who are really interested in being student leaders as well. I will stress this again, and I'm sorry that this website is being so embedded into you today, but I hope that by the end of this presentation, you'll be able to remember it and go ahead and just click it at the top of your head. But if you go to beengaged.nsc.edu/forms and you go ahead and click the NSSA letter of intent, for those of you who missed the applications for our special elections during the month of September, there are still a lot of positions open. And if you click the forms on the NSSA letter of intent and you apply to it, you will be directed to our business manager, Jessica Plasencia Flores, and then you will be directed to our very beautiful President Rantawa, who will give you the opportunity of seeing what it is that we have for you. How else can you be just really like connected with us, and how you also can be student leaders. Another update that I do have for you, or something that we are really working forward to, is to advocate for a more inclusive campus, and that is advocating for a program that allows undocumented students to be student leaders. I had the unfortunate opportunity, the very unlikely opportunity and saddening opportunity of having to turn quite a few students down because of your status here in the US. And I completely am with you. And I am so sorry that not all of us are fortunate enough to have certain statuses here, but we are advocating for this program. It is not set in stone yet. So we do have to get through a lot of work to do, but with your help and with just any type of feedback that you may have, we are able to open this up to all of their students' population and definitely make this campus even more inclusive than what it is.
Thank you so much, VP Cologne. Appreciate all the hard work you've been putting in, and just echoing a lot of what everybody's been saying. We have been working really hard on making sure that our campus is safe, inclusive. So that's why these conversations are really important, to make sure that we're gaining an understanding of what it is that you need right now, because everybody is facing different challenges, right? Like, some of you have lost loved ones, some of you are struggling mentally, and just juggling so many things, right? Like, many of because we're a diverse campus, we have students that are parents, and they're having to now become teachers at home, which is a whole nother challenge in itself. And then being a student and working. So again, I want to reiterate, I commend all of you for not giving up. Persistence is the key, and just making sure that you're reaching out for support, because that's why all of us are here. So I know I'm just repeating myself, but I think hearing it again is always helpful as well. And just a little bit about some of the things that you can look forward to. I'm working on committing like an hour every week to do a virtual walk-in. So students should have the ability to come in, vent, talk, share ideas, anything like that. So be on the lookout for that. And again, it's going to be on the Be Engaged page. And then also, we're working on having a continued survey link where students will be able to anonymously address any questions, comments, concerns. I know that it can be daunting, especially you don't know someone. We're still, a lot of us are strangers. We have a lot of new students on campus, so we welcome these conversations. And until maybe you feel comfortable, we wanted to give an option out there to where you'll be able to still share what it is that maybe your questions are, and we'll try to figure out how we can answer those. and how to better assist you. And then besides that, so a lot of the things that I've been working on is a lot of the faces that you see here. I work very closely with campus leadership to understand how NSSA can work with campus leadership to make sure that student voices are being heard. So just advocating on behalf of students, and then making sure that we're connecting students to resources and opportunities that already exist on campus. So with that being said, there were some questions that were asked and directed towards our administration that you see here today. And so I'll start off with President Patterson. We did have some questions that were related to COVID, and then also Dr. Coleman, I believe, will also be answering some questions for that. So just kind of giving some updates on COVID and what that looks like for our campus right now. So President Patterson, if you can start first.
Yeah, I'll start there. So as I mentioned in the opening comments, the state, as many states are across the country, has experienced a spike in infections. In particular, our hospitalization rates are actually quite high per 100,000 population. Our infection rate's not quite so high compared to other states, but we're in the top 10 in states in terms of hospitalizations. Now, fortunately, again, of the individuals that have tested positive that we're aware of, that are college students, faculty, or staff, I'm actually not aware of a single instance where any of those cases have resulted in hospitalization. So we've been fortunate that we haven't thus far had any serious case of that nature. That being said, the governor has signaled that that there will be additional restrictions imposed, as he put it, very soon. So I expect those restrictions likely to be announced either tomorrow or early next week, likely before the Thanksgiving break. So we don't know what those restrictions might be, but they may impact us operationally depending on the nature of the restrictions. We have already signaled to faculty that if you can, after the Thanksgiving break, to shift your courses to online and your test online, if you can do that. Again, we don't want to be overly disruptive to students, but we have to be prepared that there may be a kind of a late semester change that might be coming in the state of Nevada. So we'll keep you posted on that. The great news is that, as you probably heard, there are many new vaccinations that are nearing the level of approval for emergency use and distribution. There are challenges in the distribution networks. Some of those vaccines have to be handled in extreme cold temperatures, which create some restrictions in how to distribute those. And it will take a while for manufacturing to catch up. So this is what we know, is that those vaccines could start to become available in the latter part of this year and going into the first part of next year. We expect that those will be utilized for healthcare providers and high at-risk populations in a tier 1. We then think they'll start to be available more to schools and to a broader population at that point. So the point is, we don't know how fast those things will occur. Our campus is engaged in those conversations about the distribution and how we can be part of that distribution. So we do think that there is going to be that help on the way in the spring semester. I'll let Dr. Schultz talk about the spring semester when it's appropriate, but we hope that the spring semester will at least allow us to open up more events that I know your student government is anxious to have more engagement and to have all of us have in particular our students, to have a more traditional experience and collaboration engagement that we all love. I'll stop there and turn it to Dean Coleman.
Hi, Scorpions. First, I want to take this opportunity to thank NSSA for working with me on the creation of the Student Return to Campus Guideline and the Wear a Mask video. Thank you so much. Your contributions helping with messaging have been absolutely priceless, and I appreciate the partnership. Both items will be relaunched from our marketing department this week. So if you haven't had an opportunity to view either or both, definitely make a point, check your Canvas and the portal. You'll definitely see those two items popping up again. I briefly want to remind everyone about the COVID safety protocols while on campus. You've heard President Patterson mention the 3 W's: wear a mask, wash your hands frequently, and watch your social distancing. We know it works, so please continue in your efforts to be diligent with that behavior. We've been in restricted living for about 200 days now, and I'm sure we are all tired and probably suffering from a little COVID fatigue. But as you just heard, the numbers aren't going in the right direction. So again, we need everyone to continue to be mindful about your individual safety, but also the safety of others. I have been asked to reiterate again, there is no mask exemption on our campus. If you are struggling this semester wearing a face covering, please work with your academic advisor for a remote schedule for spring. We cannot risk Nevada State being the site of a super spreader. Your safety will always be our #1 concern. If you're sick, stay home. If you believe you've been exposed to the virus, stay home, but also self-report. If you have not downloaded the app, State Safe app, please do so. You can self-report through that app, or of course, you can self-report on the website. We do have a COVID-19 case manager. Once you self-report, Amy Evaluna will reach out to you and have some conversation with you regarding how she can help while you're in a quarantine phase. So again, I just want to say thank you to all of the students for working with us and just plowing straight ahead and demonstrating your perseverance during this definite challenging time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Coleman. I appreciate all the hard work that you put in. I know personally some of the challenges that you face and the hard work that it takes. So appreciate you. And moving on to, there were some questions that came in about financial assistance and mental health. So from here, I'll let our care team professional, Laura Hinojosa, take over from here.
Thank you. Thank you so much to NSSA, all the hard work you do, and for today's invitation. So fellow Scorpions, as we approach the end of the semester, many of you may be feeling lost, unsure, overwhelmed, unmotivated, among other things. If I can assure you of anything, it is that you are not alone. Let us remember that we have come this far together in these difficult times, and we will continue to push through together to end the semester effectively and safely. So today I'm here to remind you about all the services that continue to be available to you as Nevada State students. Student emergency funds have been dispersed to eligible students since March of this year. I'm happy to share that the financial assistance through Care Team has recently expanded to include things such as book vouchers, transportation assistance, meal support through the campus cafe, and tuition support. Know that the Care Team has been working on making sure that these funds are available to all students, including our DACA and undocumented students. And we're also working to improve the ease of access and the distribution of funds. In assessing the food insecurity on our campus, I have recently learned that even though our food pantry is fortunately stocked and running, distance and transportation is a barrier for many of our Nevada State students that live further from campus. Conversations are taking place about how we can make our pantry more accessible to other locations, and the sharing of the abundance of community food supports available is a task that continues and that we address daily. Now, more importantly, well, not more importantly, but just as importantly, if not one of the priorities, mental health. Mental health has definitely been receiving a major spotlight that has been long overdue. Nevada State recognizes the importance and the value of mental health. The free counseling support services through All About You have continued to support students. And just days ago, due to the very high demand for these services, Nevada State approved an additional day of service from All About You. This means that counselors will be able to serve even more students with the increase from 2 days to 3 days a week. Additionally, I can connect students to counseling services in the community that are offered at reduced cost services. Now, keep in mind that part of mental health is our physical health, and there are many options in the community for you, regardless of whether you have insurance or not, and regardless of citizenship. So please just reach out for more information. Now, to further support our Nevada State community in the area of mental health, there have been free and anonymous self-screenings available since May of 2020. To date, 438 individuals have completed one of our many self-assessments offered through this online software. Anyone that completes an assessment receives an extensive list of on-campus, local, and national resources that include crisis hotlines. Now, these assessments are free, they're anonymous, and they're available in both English and Spanish, and none of them take more than an average of 2 minutes to complete. So if you have questions about how you are feeling, take a screening or refer a friend that may need support. Now, these are some of the main areas of services that I wanted to highlight, and you can access any of these services or more information about them at nsce.edu/care. Or you can have the support at your fingertips by downloading the State Safe app. Through this app, as mentioned before, you can not only look for COVID updates and other information, but you can also take a mental health screening. You can apply for emergency funding, financial support through Care Team. You can connect with me and so much more. And I also invite all of you to stay connected and up to date by linking with us on Facebook and Instagram at NSC Care Corner. So in closing, I want to remind us all that these times are temporary and they too will pass. But until then, we all have the power to make a difference in each other's lives, and you do not have to be a mental health professional to do so. All you have to be is human and ask someone how they are doing. So how are you doing these days? It may seem like a very small gesture that may not make an impact, but right now, that is all it can take to make that impact. So today, take the time to ask someone how they are doing, even if that someone is you. And if support is needed, reach out to your Nevada State community. None of us have to do this alone. I also want to reassure you that we have an amazing student body that advocates for our mental health and mental wellness on campus. And I want to give the platform to Ms. Lauren Porter so she can share something about an amazing initiative that she put forth and has really come a long way, and that's going to continue to pave the path for mental health wellness at our campus. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laura. I do want to take just a quick second to tell the Nevada State community about an incredible initiative called Sting Out the Stigma, or SOS. And this incredible initiative is about bringing mental health and suicide prevention awareness to our community. So far, we have held 2 events that had student panels and professional panels to talk about some of the myths about suicide and to talk about what mental health looks like on college campuses. A recent colossal accomplishment by the Sting Out the Stigma initiative and Nevada State College was the execution of placing the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline on the back of all newly printed Scorpion cards. Nevada State is leading the way by making this change and will actually be used as an example to legislators in Carson City in March by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention as they advocate to make this change an actual law here in Nevada, to require all institutions from high school and above on the back of their student cards to have this lifeline number, because this simple change can truly save a life. For this incredible change, I would like to take a moment to give a few direct shout outs of appreciation. All of the departments involved with SOS, so that's the Office of Student Life, the Care Team, and Laura, and NSSA. Thank you so much for pushing forward and recognizing the importance of this. I want to thank the entire IT team. From the moment that the email was sent as a request to see how we could do this, within 15 minutes, I got an email back from the director of IT saying, yeah, cool, let me get more information about that. And which leads me to my next thank you. I want to thank Dr. Stephanie Coleman with my whole heart and soul, because within an hour, we got a response saying, yeah, let's do that. That sounds good. I have to say, I had legislation prepared. I had examples of other states. I was ready to fight, and there was no need to, because Nevada State College as an institution continues to exemplify that mental health of their students is absolutely a priority. So I want to just say thank you to our entire institution and our executive leadership. The fact that you guys show that and walk the walk. Not only do you say that mental health is important, but you guys walk the walk. So thank you.
Thank you so much for pushing that initiative. It is important work that you do, and I want to take a moment and say thank you so much for making sure that this was something that you advocated for, and not only advocated, but you're doing it. So we look forward to the upcoming conversations. And then we do have some questions that came in from students on the structure of the upcoming semester and what will hybrid classes look like, any additional fees. So I'll let Dr. Vicky Shields take it from here.
Hello, Scorpions. We miss you. We miss you as much as you miss being on campus. And on behalf of the faculty, I just really want to say we appreciate your flexibility, your ability to stick in there. I'm so inspired by everyone I've heard on this panel today, and that is the Nevada State way. We're a family, we're a community, and we pull together in a 360 kind of way. And you do the same, and we appreciate that so much. So we will continue with the satisfactory, unsatisfactory grading option for fall 2020 and also spring 2021. At the beginning of the semester, you know, everyone was optimistic, and we're still optimistic, but we're realistic also. We thought that we probably wouldn't need that option by the end of this semester, but we realized that it's the most student-friendly and humane thing to offer for grading throughout this year as COVID spikes even more, and it takes twists and turns. And so we've got to remain, this is part of remaining the flexibility, and it was asked for at the last Board of Regents by a lot of students in the open comment, and it's and we're happy to oblige. It will be very much the way that we did it in spring and summer, and how you do that will be posted everywhere. It will be on Canvas, it will be in the portal, it'll be on social media, it'll be everywhere you're looking in the next few days and weeks. And of course, it will live on the COVID website. So the thing that's really, really important is that we have set up the option so that it's after you get your grades. And so you'll know where you're at with your grades before you make the choice. And then the first stop has to be advising. Because it's not always, you know, it might seem like the best option if you get a grade you don't care for, but there might be a lot of reasons why it's not the best option, but only an advisor can walk you through all of that. So it is mandatory that you go to an advisor to take that option, but the option will be available to you, and more details are coming, like I say, everywhere you look in the next few days or so. Spring semester, so it will look an awful lot like fall. We had hoped early on this semester that more faculty would be able to have some small classes on campus more than we had this fall. And of course, everything we've heard is COVID, and everything is heading in the wrong direction. And we may get even further restrictions from the governor very soon. So for right now, we're scheduled pretty much like we were for the fall. And hybrid classes are mainly only the science labs, where a true hybrid class where you're on campus part of the time for your lab, and then you have lectures remotely. So that's a true hybrid class. But something you've got to really look out for when you're registering is whether a class is synchronous or asynchronous. So if it's a remote class, but there's a synchronous component, and that'll be in the catalog, it means that there is a place and time where you're all expected to be there at the same time. And so, be really careful when you're looking through your schedule. If you really need a complete self-paced remote schedule where you don't have to meet at a particular time, that is asynchronous. And so just be careful there. That did trip up a few people, not too many, but it did trip up a few people who didn't quite understand that they needed to be in front of their computer at a set day and time. So that's synchronous learning. So hybrid will look the same. There'll be very few classes on campus, mainly the science labs. There might be a few more faculty that take that option. They have the option to do so, but I think so far they're being pretty cautious, which is prudent. So yes, it will look a lot like it does now. And there's no additional fees for spring. The surcharge that we're charging this year continues throughout the entire year. Maybe President Patterson will talk about what he knows about the future of the surcharge. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for everything that you do and all of the updates. I know that it is still going to be continue to be remote, but it is important that we continue to be there for each other and just lean on the support that Nevada State College offers. And so I believe President Patterson, you have something to add about the surcharges.
Sure. So when we were required, because of the emergency situation of the state budget in the spring of this year, there was immediately a 19% reduction imposed on the campuses for the rest of the year, which, as our finance people explained, was really the equivalent of like a 25% reduction, because we had already expended under a normal expenditure for the first part of the year. And then we were expected to absorb a 19% reduction for the remaining 8 months of the year. So that was a very significant situation for all campuses across the state. And so there was an emergency surcharge imposed at Nevada State of $5 a credit hour. It was $6 a credit hour at the universities. At the same time, we were fortunate that the federal government passed a stimulus bill that included money that we were able to distribute to students, which helped to balance that somewhat. And but it was intended to be a temporary measure. Now that we have more time to plan the budget for the next biennium, in the last Board of Regents meeting, it was pretty clear that the board did not want the surcharges to continue into next biennium. So I do not expect that those surcharges will continue after this year. The other potentially good news is we have had conversations with the federal delegation from Nevada, and they do think it's promising, not necessarily until the next president comes into office, but it's possible this before the Congress breaks for the holiday break. It's possible then, or shortly after Congress reconvenes in January, that another stimulus bill would be adopted. And that could potentially do a number of things. It could provide more money for states who are suffering significant fiscal crises. So that means we wouldn't be expected to make as much of a budget cut. And it could provide funding for higher education because of all of the reductions that we have faced. And it could potentially also provide additional money to small businesses, individuals, and students that could help during the spring semester. So we're very hopeful of that, and certainly the delegation is very supportive and understands that if they adopt that, they will make it clear that DACA students are included. That was what we were told was their intent before, but the Department of Education construed the regulation as to not permit DACA students to participate in that. But we're thankful for all the efforts of Laura and our foundation team to be able to get some additional resources from private donors to help cover some of that shortfall. So I'll just stop there, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that, President Patterson. And it looks like as far as questions go, the only other one that we left, and I think it might make more sense to kind of do like a round robin. It's what advice, where are we go? Excuse me. What advice do you have for new college students? And I think, I mean, a new college students, this is definitely, you probably had to graduate and had missed prom and missed your graduation. So my heart goes out to you. And then having to start this new journey through college all remotely. So I commend you. Just my advice would be, please don't give up. NSSA is here for you. Our campus community is here for you. So I know that there's a lot of clubs and organizations that are looking for members. So again, I'm going to encourage you to go on to beengaged.nsc.edu, look through there and see, you might find something that you're interested in, and just show up to a meeting and see what it's about. You know, it might be something that you end up liking, and it might not be, but you gave it a shot, you know, and that's the first step. And then we're not just NSSA, but the entire campus community is constantly holding virtual events. And I want to apologize that they are virtual. We really do wish that we could hold them in person. You have no idea, but these are the times that we're in. So I know that virtual events can be a little bit daunting, but honestly, they're a lot of fun. So please check out all the fun events that Nevada State College is holding. And then from there, anybody else that wants to jump in and just share any kind of advice or guidance that they might have for college students.
Well, I'll jump in. I tell students all the time, first of all, use college as an opportunity to find your passion. You're not going to get another opportunity that's as good. And then secondly, I like to have students think of college as like a job. And if you can block your schedule such that every day you start working on college at the same time, you take regular breaks, even if you don't have classes scheduled, you start at the same time, you study during certain times, you take the breaks, and then when you're done. Go take a break, a long break, and do something else. But I think that time management is important.
I couldn't agree with you more. And anybody else want to jump in?
Yeah, actually, if I could chime in for a sec. So as you mentioned, there's a lot of virtual events going on campus. I myself am a first-generation college student, part of Nepal's 5th cohort. And one of the things that was really stressed to me when I first came in my freshman year, and I know the circumstances are a little bit different, but this still applies, get involved on campus, ask questions, right? Reach out to your professors, reach out to any faculty. Your professors are, very much would like to teach in person just as you would like to be in front of them in a classroom. So really reach out, ask questions. Don't feel intimidated as a freshman. That was one of my big things. I felt so intimidated to ask for help or to reach out or just ask any questions. But getting involved really through NSSA and through the Nepal program was probably the best thing that I could have done. And it's propelled my academic career so far. And it's really a fun way to be engaged and really keep up to date with what the campus is doing. So even though it's virtual, as we've been mentioning it so many times, be engaged at nsc.edu. Look at those events on there, right? It's not just clubs and orgs. There's also events that the Office of Student Life is holding and any other type of virtual events that are happening. So that is the best way that you can stay connected. And of course, feel free to reach out to, NSSA. We are here for you. If there's any initiatives, if there's any concerns on behalf of the student side that your student leaders can do for you. I mean, we are the student voice, right? So reach out to us, let us know if there's anything that's lacking and what we can do to better enhance, right, your remote learning experience and college experience overall.
I'd like to just add on to something that you just said. Students are often afraid to talk to their professors outside of class, and what they don't know, it's not a well-kept secret, but it seems to be a secret. Professors love to talk to students outside of class. We love it. We love it. We want you to come to office hours. We want to talk to you. We want to get to know you. We live for that. That's why we went into this profession. So never feel like you're imposing, asking, or just getting to know your professor. And it's a fact. Nationally, the students that got most involved and really got some good relationships with their professors are the most successful. They tend to graduate on time, and they tend to have all the right opportunities to propel their career. So don't be shy with your professors. They want to know you.
I can echo that. I thankfully have had some amazing professors. I mean, they're all amazing, but based off of the classes that I've taken, they have all been very supportive. And just saying like, hey, if you ever need to talk, if you need any advice, like they're there. So a lot of the professors here are also mentors, and so it is a huge weight lifted off your shoulders, because a lot of times you're like not even sure what questions to ask, but in those conversations that you're having, kind of talking about the things that you're struggling with, they'll shed some light, share a story of something that they went through, and it's so helpful. So I just want to add that, but anybody else jump in, please.
I can go ahead. My biggest piece of advice is especially for my pre-nursing and my pre-nursing students at Nevada State. I feel you guys. The biggest advice, to echo what President Patterson said, time management is going to be your best friend. As a pre-nursing student, I recommend that you get involved in as many things as you possibly can and really get that time management and that balance down. And the other piece to that is the self-care that you see on Instagram may not be the right self-care for you. Understand that self-care is not always that super nice, fancy bubble bath with rose petals. Self-care might be buckling down and getting those 10 assignments, sit down, get them done, and then watch a movie. Self-care may be really figuring out what that balance is and what that time management looks like. For the new college students that are first-year students, please utilize your peer mentors. We're there for a reason. We're in your classes, and we've sat in your seats. We know what it's like to be a new student. And to that too, reach out to NSSA, because if Nevada State has proven anything, is that if it's important to you, it's important to us. And NSSA is going to be your first and your best stopping point, because we're going to be able to guide you in the direction wherever you need to go to get that information. We'll be able to direct you there.
Thank you so much. And I echo everything that you just said. Anybody else want to add anything?
Yeah, sure. I can add a few words. Lauren, you have the greatest spirit. I love it. So my piece of advice for new college students or current or any student really was a piece of advice that one of my mentors, who I consider a second mom to this day, she told me in undergrad, she's like, do not let your pride get in the way of your success. And that has taken me so far, even in my professional life as well. So whether that was putting my pride aside to ask for help, to ask a question, to ask about additional financial assistance, to get tutoring, to pick my professor's brain because I wasn't getting something, it has made me a better person. It has made me a better professional. So very much, I think, is the theme that a lot of people are sharing, use this time to explore, to ask questions, to make mistakes and to learn from them. But yeah, don't let your pride get in the way of your success. It's okay to reach out and say, I need help, or I don't know the question, or I don't know the answer, whatever that is. So, and thank you for sticking with us, and just know that as long as you're here, we're here too. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that reminder. Anybody else? We're going to start wrapping up. I do want to be mindful of everybody's time. This was an event that was till 4. We're just a little bit over. I kind of expected that to happen. I love all the amazing conversations and perspectives that have been given. But I do want to give anybody else an opportunity that'd like to add anything before we start wrapping up. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. So again, I want to thank you all the panelists, for taking the time out today to be here and share all the amazing updates, and then also sharing your perspectives, right? And then any of the Nevada State college community that joined in today, any of the students that joined in today. And I really want to thank all the behind the scenes. So I know they never get the credit that they deserve, but they do all this hard work. And I just want to say thank you to the tech team. And then a huge shout out to our business manager, Jessica. You can't see her, but she has been behind the scenes checking for any updates, and then also helping us with the slides. So appreciate you. And this is our information. This is for myself and Vice President Dara Colon. So please don't be shy. Reach out to either one of us. We are here to be your support system. We're here to direct you to any resources and opportunities that are already here on campus. And then, of course, hear any initiatives or ideas that you have. And so, again, we want to be there alongside your journey here at Nevada State. This is meant to be an ongoing conversation. And as we encourage you to reach out to us, we're here to advocate for you and to be a support system. We want to hear about your biggest challenges, not even just your challenges, but your accomplishments. And we want to address any questions, comments, or concerns that you might have so we can figure out how to better support you. So Scorpions, thank you again for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day. But in the meantime, please stay strong, stay persistent, and stay safe. Thank you, everyone.